Hello everyone, this is Payal Vaja. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we will discuss about nutritional requirements for growth of bacteria based on chemical requirements. So let's get started. These are the list of contents we will discuss in this video. First one, nutritional requirements for growth of bacteria based on chemical requirements. They are classified. First one is source of carbon, next one is nitrogen, next one is sulfur, phosphorus, oxygen and trace elements. We will discuss one by one. Organic growth factors and physical requirements. Nutritional requirement for the growth of bacteria. So, macronutrients and their sources classification. First one is in macronutrients, five classes or five elements is available. First one is carbon, second one is oxygen, next one is nitrogen, fourth one is hydrogen, and last one is phosphorus. All are called as macronutrients. First one is carbon. So function of carbon is that is the main constituent of cell. Second one is oxygen. So function of oxygen is that is the constituent of cell material, and oxygen is electron acceptor in aerobic respiration. That means function of oxygen is that is the constituent of cell materials, as well as oxygen is act as an electron acceptor in aerobic respiration. Third one is nitrogen. Function of nitrogen is nitrogen that is the constituent of amino acid, nucleic acid, nucleotides and coenzyme. So nitrogen that is the constituent of various acid and coenzymes. Fourth one is hydrogen. Hydrogen that is the constituent of organic compounds and water, and that is important in energy generation as a proton. So hydrogen that is the main constituent of organic compound as well as water, and it is important in energy generation as a proton. Last one is phosphorus, that is the macronutrient requirements for the growth of bacteria. Phosphorus that is the constituent of amino acid, nucleic acid, nucleotide, phospholipid. LPS means lipopolysaccharide, that is also known as lipoglycans and endotoxins. They are large molecule consisting of lipid and a polysaccharide that is composed of O antigen, an outer core and inner core that is joined by a covalent bond. They are found in outer membrane of gram-negative bacteria. That is regarding lipopolysaccharide. And last one is teichoic acid. So phosphorus that is the constituent of amino acid, nucleic acid, nucleotide, phospholipid and lipopolysaccharide. So what is lipopolysaccharide? Lipopolysaccharide, also known as lipoglycans and endotoxins. Both are large molecule that are consisting of a lipid that consists of lipid and polysaccharide and composed of O antigen. Outer core and inner core both are joined by covalent bond, and this type of outer membrane found in gram negative bacteria. What is micronutrients and their sources? First one is sulfur, second one is potassium, magnesium, calcium and iron. All are act as a micronutrients. So first one sulfur. Function of sulfur is that is the constituent of cysteine, methionine, glutathione and several coenzyme. So sulfur that is the constituent of cysteine, methionine, glutathione and many coenzymes. Second one is potassium. Potassium is a cellular inorganic cation and a cofactor for certain enzyme. So potassium they are act as a cellular inorganic cation. What is cation? Cation it is a positively charged ion and cofactor for certain enzymes. What is cofactor? Cofactor that means a substance whose presence is essential for the activity of enzyme that is called as a cofactor. In magnesium is a cellular inorganic cation. So magnesium also acts as a cellular inorganic cation and it is a cofactor for certain enzymatic reactions. So magnesium acts as a cofactor for certain enzymatic reaction. Further we will discuss cation means positively charged ion and cofactor means a substance whose presence is essential for the activity of enzyme that is called as cofactor. Next one is calcium. Function of calcium is it is a cellular inorganic cation and a cofactor for certain enzymes and that is the component of endospores. Last one is iron. Iron that is the component of cytochrome, other proteins and cofactor for some enzymatic reactions. That means iron that is the component of cytochrome. What is cytochrome? Cytochrome means any of a number of compound which consisting of heme bonded to a protein and cytochrome. So cytochrome means any number of compound which consisting of heme bonded to a protein that is called as a cytochrome. And function of cytochrome function is electron transfer agent in many metabolic pathway, especially cellular respiration. That means function of cytochrome is that are act as a electron transfer agent in many metabolic pathways, particularly in cellular respiration. Function of iron is that is the component of cytochrome, other protein and cofactor for some enzymatic reaction. That is regarding micronutrients and their sources. We will discuss briefly first macronutrient, that one is carbon. Beside the water, one of the most important requirements for microbial growth, that one is carbon. That means water is important requirement for microbial growth. But other than the water, carbon, that one is also most important requirements for the microbial growth. Carbon, that is the structural backbone of living matter. So carbon, that is the structural backbone of any living matters. It is needed for all the organic compounds that make up a living cell. So carbon that is required for the all organic compounds. Why? Because that make up a living bodies. half the dry weight of typical bacterial cell, that is carbon. That means half of the dry weight of bacterial cell, that is made up of carbon. Next one is chemoheterotroph and chemoautotroph. First one is chemoheterotroph. Chemoheterotrophs are organisms that obtain the energy by oxidation of electron donor in their environment. That means chemoheterotrophs, that are the one type of organism, and they obtain the energy by the oxidation of electron donor in their environment. Chemoheterotrophs uses inorganic energy sources to synthesize organic compounds from carbon dioxide. That means chemoheterotroph or use of chemoheterotroph is chemoheterotroph which uses the inorganic energy sources. Why? Because it synthesizes organic compound from carbon dioxide. And last one is chemoheterotrophs are unable to utilize carbon dioxide to form their own organic compound. That means chemoheterotrophs are unable to utilize carbon dioxide itself to form their own organic compounds. Chemoheterotrophs, which get most of their carbon from the source of their energy organic material such as protein, carbohydrate and lipid. That means chemoheterotroph which get most of the carbon from the various sources like protein, carbohydrate and lipid. Next one is chemoautotroph and photoautotroph. They are derive their carbon from carbon dioxide. That means chemoautotroph and photoautotrophs both derived their carbon from CO2. What is chemoautotrophs? Chemoautotrophs, that is an organism, typically a bacteria, which derives energy from the oxidation of inorganic compound. That means chemoautotrophs, that is the one type of organism which typically a bacteria and which derives energy from the oxidation of inorganic compound. Next one is regarding photoautotroph. What is photoautotrophs? Photoautotrophs are an organism that carry out a photon capture to produce a complex organic compound and acquire energy. They uses the energy from light to carry out various cellular metabolic process. That means photoautotrophs, that are the one type of organism, they carry out a photon. So they capture the photon for producing a complex organic compound and which acquire the energy. And the uses of photoautotroph is sorry the uses of photoautotroph is they carry out various cellular metabolic process from the light. Next one is nitrogen. It makes up about 14% of dry weight of bacterial cell. So nitrogen, that is make up 14% of dry weight of bacterial cell. So bacteria cell, they are made up of nitrogen which contain 14% of nitrogen. Organisms uses a nitrogen primarily to form the amino group of amino acid of the proteins. That means organism which uses the nitrogen. Why? To form the amino group of amino acids of proteins. Other bacteria which uses nitrogen from ammonium ion, which are already in the reduced form and are usually found in organic cellular material. That means other microorganism or other bacteria which uses a nitrogen from the ammonium ion, which are already in the reduced form, and they are usually found in organic cellular components. Other bacteria or remaining bacteria, they are able to derive nitrogen from nitrates. So some bacteria derive nitrogen from ammonium ion, which are already in reduced form, and they are found in organic cellular material, while another remaining bacteria, they are able to derive nitrogen from the nitrates. And bacterial cell, that is the made up of about 14% of nitrogen. Some important bacteria, including many of photosynthesizing cyanobacteria, which uses gaseous nitrogen directly from the atmosphere, and this process is called as nitrogen fixation. So what is nitrogen fixation? In nitrogen fixation, some important bacteria, including photosynthesizing photosynthesizing cyanobacteria, which uses the gaseous nitrogen directly from the atmosphere. So, photosynthesizing cyanobacteria, which directly uses gaseous nitrogen from the atmosphere, that is called as nitrogen fixation method. Some organisms that can use this method are free living, mostly in the soil, but others live cooperatively in symbiosis with the roots of legumes such as clover, soya beans, alfalfa beans, and peas. That means some organisms that can use the methods that are free living, so organisms that are free living and that are mostly present in the soil, but other live organism cooperate in symbiosis. What is symbiosis? Symbiosis, that means interaction between two different organisms living in close physical association, typically to the advantages of both. That means symbiosis, that is the interaction between two different organisms. They are living in close physical association, and that is the advantages of both. That is the symbiosis with the root of legumes such as cloves, soya beans, alfalfa, etc. And the nitrogen fixed in symbiosis is used by both the plant and the bacteria. So any type of nitrogen that is fixed in the symbiosis, that is used by both plant as well as bacteria. Next one is sulfur. Sulfur and phosphorus together constitute about another 4%. That means cell which is made up of sulfur and phosphorus, which contain or is about 4%. So sulfur and phosphorus together constituent, that is about 4%. It is used to synthesize sulfur containing amino acid and vitamins such as thiamine and biotin. So what is the role of sulfur? It is used to synthesize sulfur containing amino acids and vitamins like thiamine and biotin. important natural sources of sulfur. So sulfur that is produced from sulfate ion, hydrogen sulfide and sulfur containing any amino acid. All are the sources of sulfur. What is phosphate? It is essential for the synthesis of nucleic acid and the phospholipid of cell membrane. So what is the role of phosphate? Phosphate, it is the essential or require for the synthesis of nucleic acid and that is the phospholipid of cell membrane. It is also found in energy bond of ATP. Phosphate that is also present in energy bond of ATP and a source of phosphorus that is phosphate ion. So phosphorus that is obtained from phosphate ions and potassium, magnesium and calcium are also elements that microorganisms require often as cofactors for enzymes. That means potassium, magnesium and calcium all are the micronutrients. They are also elements that microorganism requires. So potassium, magnesium and calcium all are the elements that requires all elements and often act as a cofactors for the enzymes. What is trace element? Microbes which require very small amount of other mineral elements for growth purpose. Example of mineral elements, first one is iron, copper, molybdenum and zinc. Most are essential for function of certain enzymes and usually as cofactors. That means trace elements are required for functions of certain enzymes and they are also act as a cofactors. Although these elements are sometimes added to a laboratory, they are usually assumed to be naturally present in tap water and other component of media. So, various trace elements, zinc, molybdenum and iron, sometimes they are added to the laboratory medium because they are naturally present in the tap water and other components of media. What is organic growth factors? Essential organic compounds an organism is unable to synthesize are known as organic growth factor. That means essential organic compound an organism that is unable to synthesize, that is called as organic growth factor. They must be directly obtained from the environment. So organic growth factor directly obtained from the environment. One group of organic growth factor for human is vitamin. So that are act as a organic growth factor. Most vitamins function as coenzymes, the organic cofactors required by certain enzymes in order to the function. So, what is organic growth factors? Growth factors are an organic compound such as amino acid, purine, pyrimidine and vitamins that a cell must have for growth but can't synthesize itself. So, organic growth factor or growth factor that are the organic compound like amino acid, purine, pyrimidine, and vitamins that a cell must have for growth but which can't synthesize itself. An organism which having a complex nutritional requirements and needing many growth factors, they are said to be a fastidious. So what is fastidious? We already discussed in last session. They must be directly obtained from the environment. So organic growth factors, they are directly obtained from the environments. In one group of organic growth factor, that is the particularly for human, that is the vitamins. And most vitamins function is a coenzyme and the organic cofactor required by certain enzymes in order to functions. Many bacteria which can synthesize all their own vitamins and do not depend on outside sources. That means many bacteria synthesize their own vitamins. They do not depend on outside sources. Some bacteria which lack the enzymes needed for synthesis of certain vitamins. And for them, those vitamins are organic growth factor. That means many bacteria which lacks the enzyme for the synthesis of vitamin by itself. So in this case, those vitamins are act as a organic growth factor. Other organic growth factor that is required by some bacteria that are amino acid, purine and pyrimidine. So organic growth factors means bacteria doesn't synthesize its own vitamins and they are dependent on outside sources, that is called as organic growth factor. What is oxygen? In oxygen, many current form of life have a metabolic systems that require oxygen for aerobic respiration. That means current form of life that have a metabolic system, they require oxygen. So life have a metabolic system in which require oxygen, particularly for aerobic respiration. As we have seen, hydrogen atoms that have been stripped from organic compound and combined with oxygen to form a water. That means hydrogen atom that is stripped from organic compound or any organic material and hydrogen that is combined with oxygen and form a water. This process yield a great deal of energy while neutralizing a potentially toxic gas, a very neat solution all in all. That means this process which yield a great deal of energy. So this process require energy while neutralizing a potentially toxic gas, a very neat solution. Microbes that use molecular oxygen, that is aerobes, produce more energy from nutrients than microbes they do not use oxygen, that are called as anaerobes. So microbes that uses the molecular oxygen which produce more energy. So any microbes that uses the aerobes which produce the more energy compared to microbes that doesn't uses oxygen. Bacteria can be classified based on their oxygen requirements. Which are five classes available. First one is obligate aerobes, facultative anaerobes, obligate anaerobes, aerotolerant anaerobes, and last one is microaerophiles. We will discuss one by one. First one is obligate aerobes. Organisms that require oxygen to live are called as obligate aerobes. So organisms which require oxygen for living purpose or for life, that is that is called as obligate aerobes. Obligate aerobes are at a disadvantage. What is the disadvantage of obligate aerobes? Because oxygen is poorly soluble in water of their environment. So that is the disadvantages of obligate aerobes. Next one is facultative anaerobes or a facultative anaerobes. In facultative anaerobes, many of aerobic bacteria have developed or retained the ability to continue growing in the absence of oxygen. Such organisms are called as facultative anaerobes. So what is facultative anaerobes? Many aerobic bacteria, they have developed or retained the ability to continue growing in absence of oxygen. So many bacteria, they are developed or continue growing if oxygen is absent. So that is called as facultative anaerobes. Facultative anaerobes can use oxygen when it is present but are able to continue growth by using fermentation or anaerobic respiration when oxygen is not available. That means facultative anaerobes uses the oxygen when oxygen is present, but if oxygen is doesn't present, so in this case continue growth is occur by using the fermentation or the anaerobic respiration. Their efficiency in producing energy decreases when oxygen is absent. So in the absence of oxygen, they produce less energy. Example of facultative anaerobes are a familiar E. coli that are found in human intestinal tract. So facultative anaerobes example is E. coli bacteria that are found in or present in human intestine. Many yeasts are also act as a facultative anaerobes. What is obligate anaerobes? They are bacteria that are unable to use molecular oxygen for energy yielding reactions. So, obligate anaerobes, they are the bacteria, they are unable to use the molecular oxygen. So, this type of bacteria can't use the molecular oxygen for energy yielding reaction. And these bacteria do use the oxygen they present in atmosphere. These bacteria do use the oxygen atom that is present in cellular material, and the atom are usually obtained from water. So this type of obligate anaerobes uses the oxygen atom that is already present in the cellular materials, and this type of oxygen atom are usually obtained from the water. In fact, most are harmed by it. Example of obligated anaerobes is the genus Clostridium, which contains the species that causes tetanus and botulism. So, one species, genus Clostridium, which contains the species that produce the tetanus and botulism, both are the disease. Aerotolerant anaerobes. They can't use oxygen for growth, but they tolerate it fairly well. That means aerotolerant anaerobes, they can't use oxygen for the growth purpose, but they tolerate if oxygen is fairly present. On the surface of solid medium, they will grow without the use of special techniques required for obligate anaerobes. That means if oxygen is present on the surface of solid medium, they will grow without the use of special technique that is required for obligate anaerobes. And many of aerotolerant bacteria characteristically ferment carbohydrate to lactic acid. So role of aerotolerant bacteria is to fermentation of carbohydrates into the lactic acid. As lactic acid accumulates, it inhibits the growth of aerobic competitors and establishes a favorable ecological niches for lactic acid production. That means if lactic acid is accumulated or produced, so lactic acid inhibits the growth of aerobic competitors and which establish a favorable ecological environment for lactic acid producer. A common example of lactic acid producing aerotolerant anaerobes is lactobacilli that are used in production of many acidic fermented food such as pickles and cheese. So example of lactic acid producing aerotolerant bacteria is lactobacilli that are used in production of many acidic fermented food like pickles, cheese, etc. Microaerophiles. They are aerobic bacteria and they do require oxygen for growth purpose. They grow only in oxygen concentration lower than those in air. So they will grow. Only oxygen concentration is lower than those in the present in air. In a test tube of solid nutrient medium, they grow only at a depth where small amount of oxygen have diffused into the medium. They do not grow near the oxygen-rich surface or below the narrow zone of adequate oxygen. That means in the test tube of solid nutrient medium. So take a one test tube and in test tube add a solid nutrient medium. They grow microaerophiles only grow at the depth where the small amount of oxygen that is diffused into the medium. They do not grow oxygen rich surface or they do not grow below the narrow zone of adequate oxygen. Energy or nutritional sources. With respect to energy source, organisms that are able to use light as an energy source are designated as phototrophs. That means what is phototroph? Organism they are able to use light as an energy source that are called as phototrophs. And what is chemotrophs? Organism which are dependent on chemical sources. They are called as chemotrophs. Based on this consideration, microorganism can be divided into four nutritional categories. First one is photoautotroph, photoheterotroph, chemoautotrophs and chemoheterotrophs. Photoautotrophs. Organism using light as the energy source and CO2 as the principal carbon source. So what is photoautotroph? In photoautotroph, organism using the light as an energy source and CO2 that are act as a carbon source. Example of photoautotroph is higher plant, algae and photosynthetic bacteria. Second one is photoheterotroph. Organisms using light as the energy source and the organism compound as the principal carbon source. Example is purple bacteria and green bacteria. So, what is photoheterotroph? So, organism which uses light as an energy source and organic compound is a principal carbon source, while photoautotroph, in this case CO2 act as a carbon source, while photoheterotroph, organic compound act as a carbon source. Chemoautotroph or chemolithotroph. Organism using a chemical energy source and CO2 is the principal carbon source. So organism use the chemical energy source and CO2 as a carbon source. Because of their ability to grow in strictly mineral media, in the absence of light, these organisms are also called as chemolithotroph. Why it is called as chemolithotroph? Because they have ability to grow in strictly mineral media if light is absent. So it is called as chemolithotrophs. Chemoheterotrophs. Organisms using a chemical as the energy source and an organic compound as the principal carbon source. They are called as chemoheterotrophs. Thank you.